I can't believe it. Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 3 has just released today, and well, it was a long time coming, and to be fair, when I saw the trailer, I was definitely excited for it, and it hasn't disappointed. The first 3 episodes, that is, haven't disappointed. Somehow, our showrunner has created a show that actually was quite happy-go-lucky, got gradually a little bit darker, and has now gone full on. I think dark. The first 3 episodes were very much along the lines of dark, twisted subtext, strange movements, but also the fact of Omega is going about her routine and day in their new facility, seemingly doing things that were quite illegal and just generally being a lab assistant while also having her blood taken for some strange reason, which were explained, oddly enough, spoiler alert, in episode 3. It was, I think, just brilliant in a way to actually see real fact, yep, our main villain is definitely as dark and as twisted as we thought, but also for a fact that the clones are basically gone from just being cannon fodder soldiers, to having some degree of rights, to, well, just lab experiments for some dark, twisted experiment that the Empire is conducting and Palpatine wants done for some strange reason or another. Something called an endocrine transfer, or whatever it might be. Whatever it is, we don't yet know. And the fact that Omega's samples are being destroyed by basically the woman she used to help on Camino, that in itself was rather fascinating and unique, because it proves for a fact that Omega isn't... She's not only is... There's probably been other female clones, but she's not just another clone. She is a very special kind of clone. Raised in the same environment, but a unique clone in her own right. And that was just something incredible as well. And then, oddly enough, comes the episode 2. That was very, very entertaining. Hunter is trying to get his little girl back. And it really does show. I mean, he's a very much concerned dad who wants to get his daughter back, and Wrecker's telling him, "We'll get her back, but we have to be careful about this." And remember what happened last time? That is just something else. And the fact they get the coordinates from a Brawl family, I'm not sure which syndicate, I can't remember the species, but and it turns out they actually do track down Dr. Hemlock's lab, but not where he is now. And it's a much smaller laboratory. But also, we learn for a fact that they've been experimenting on clones since quite possibly the early days of the Empire. We know for a fact we encounter 3 adolescent clones who were still in training, who were basically being turned into laboratory experiments. And also for the Empire isn't just creating that, but also creating bioweapons for some as yet unknown purpose. And then finally, and they finally track, and through that they get closer than they ever have been to finding Omega. The 3rd episode, I think, was arguably the best of the 3. Omega is in episode 1 was telling Crosshair they have to get out. Crosshair's telling her to give up on the whole thing. It's not the fact he hasn't necessarily really considered... He's probably considered escape, but it's impossible. The facility's too old guard in the middle of nowhere. They'll have to get a ship first to get into the jungle. A jungle that will eat them alive or kill them. And finally, in the same episode, Palpatine makes his appearance. Oh boy. He visits Dr. Hemlock's facility. And Omega, by this point, oddly enough, Omega's plan of escaping men, Crosshair says it's crazy, but I think at the same time it's also brilliant, because no one ever really would expect it. And as a result, now Omega and Crosshair escape, leaving a very much Doctor who quite possibly is now who no longer cooperate, as now Omega is home free, or at least free for the time being, and they've also lost Crosshair. And word of the experiments going on that planet are going to come out. But there's another reason why Omega is, I think, this basically a MacGuffin character. Because in her, the reason why the good Kamino and Doctor was destroying Omega samples was because of the fact that it was one of his own lab assistants who discovered it. The one who's basically been in charge of supervising Omega in her escape. Just as they're about to make their goal. They soon realise for the fact the girl is too valuable to kill because she can actually withstand the endocrine transfer without too much bother, which makes me think for a fact that this plus Project Necromancer, which is what Palpatine is visiting to see, some sort of twisted genetic experiment, is basically an attempt, quite possibly, what may lead to the birth of Snoke in the Yes, I Know, the sequel trilogy, but also, or perhaps some other attempt of Palpatine's to create a new body for himself, because we know for a fact that by this point, Palpatine has had a very narrow brush with death, and he is starting to age. So, of course, he wants to live forever. And of course, I get the funny feeling this is a Sith thing. It's an obsession. The Sith obsess about things. For Anakin, it was Padme. For many Sith Lords, it was just power and empire. Same with Palpatine, but also oddly enough, his own morbidity. So that is definitely very nice to see. It all kind of explains the theory I've developed for the Sith. It was just brilliant, and boy was it good. Well, I believe you have a chance. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheerio!